return to the grind that is NFL training camp. But according to NFL Network's initial reports and later confirmed by ESPN, Joe Mixon will be missing a majority of that. The Texans running back injured his ankle over the offseason and had already missed OTAs and minicamp. Now, the aim is just to reevaluate him closer to the start of the regular season. Mixon's entering his second season in Houston at age 29. The time away from football for Treylon Burks is even less certain after the Titans wideout fractured his collarbone. The injury occurred on a diving, one-handed snag during team period at practice. Word of the specifics came courtesy of NFL Network, and head coach Brian Callahan said post-practice that the receiver's status will be updated at the appropriate time.
Trevor, Saturday was Military Day at Eagles camp. Every player on the roster gave their jerseys to select military personnel in attendance. Great gesture from the Super Bowl champs. We're only 12 days away from opening their preseason slate against the Bengals. Sal Paolantonio is with the Eagles to kickstart our whip around the NFL.
In the offseason, Jalen Hurts sought the counsel of Michael Jordan, and you could see in practice on Saturday, it was immediately paying off. The single-minded focus of Jalen Hurts is something that I haven't seen in a quarterback here, and I've been covering this team for 32 years. And as for Nick Sirianni, he told me in a one-on-one that this offseason, he sought the counsel of three people, Nick Saban, Peyton Manning, and Gino Auriemma, to find out what it takes to have, quote, sustained success, unquote.
It's Michael Penix's second year in the NFL, but his first training camp as the unquestioned #1 quarterback. And I've asked a couple of his coaches what's different about him. The answer seems to be kind of nothing. He's a natural leader. He's consistent. He's authentic in the way that he leads and the way that he conducts himself in the building. It's what they liked about him so much last year. It's the reason they drafted him so high, and it's the reason they feel like they're going to be able to plug him right into this offense this year and expect big things. It's been 8 years since the Atlanta Falcons made the playoffs. His fan base, his coaching staff, his front office are hopeful that Michael Penix Jr. can be the guy that breaks that drought.
The Browns quarterback battle rages on, and Kenny Pickett has put together 2 consecutive strong days. The Browns have been pleased with Pickett, who ended the day with a touchdown throw on the run. So the Browns quarterback battle will be a slow one because head coach Kevin Stefanski told me that he's at least a week away from prioritizing any sort of pecking order or depth chart. But in the meantime, Pickett and Joe Flacco will get a lot of the first-team reps. Stefanski has lauded the work ethic and professionalism of both rookies, Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, who was the last player off the practice field on Saturday. And really, the truth is, all the quarterbacks have had at least some trouble with this Browns defense that is showing shades of its past dominance.
Well, it's exactly what the Dolphins want to see out of their offense this coming season. What we saw at the end of this practice on Saturday, Tua Tagovailoa hitting Tyreek Hill for a 60-yard touchdown pass, one of several explosive plays in this practice. That is what head coach Mike McDaniel is looking for, but it's not just about what happens on the field, but also off the field. McDaniel wants to see this team be more accountable from top to bottom. So they're starting to see it on the field. Now McDaniel also looking for it off the field.
Iowa. Meantime, no news is not good news in Cowboy land, where Micah Parsons' contract talks are going as well as an episode of Dateline NBC. The two-time All-Pro defensive end is not holding out, continues to take part in camp. But that's the only place the two sides are close. Parsons is seeking an extension that would make him among, if not the highest-paid defender in NFL history. Brian Schottenheimer now on the business side of things.
We've been through this the last couple of years, Lindsay. It happens. It's the nature of football. These things generally get worked out, and that's what we're anticipating. It's going to get worked out. But at the time right now, we're doing some great things in this football field, and I love how our guys are coming together, but more importantly, how they're competing.
Dak Prescott in his 10th season, what would you like to see from him?
Just find ways to win games. You know, he doesn't have to do it all by himself. We're going to have a great defense. Obviously, we have great special teams. We're going to run the hell out of the ball. I'm excited about that, the way the line's coming together, the backs that we have. But his job is to win games. And when you win games, the quarterback, you usually are having a pretty good year.
From Oxnard down to the LA Rams at 37 years old, it's completely understandable that Matthew Stafford's going to ease into the 17th training camp of his career. The Rams quarterback is dealing with some back soreness, relatable, and will not return to practice next week. According to Coach McVay, it's all part of the master plan because the former comeback player of the year is expected, Sam,
tackle some of the biggest questions in the NFC entering this season. Sam, we're in Virginia for 50 in 50, and we're at Commanders camp. So let's start there. What's the biggest questions that you got for the Commanders?
What role will Debo Samuel play in this Cliff Kingsbury offense? We know that Debo Samuel back in 2021 was outstanding. He was at running back. He was at receiver. He was in the slot. But where will he be in this offense? Will he be more lined up out wide? Or will he be like he was in 2021 where he was a Pro Bowler, where he had 8 rushing touchdowns, 136 touches, 1,700 scrimmage yards? So that's the first question. How big of an impact will Debo Samuel play in this offense, especially if Terry McLaurin decides to sign? Question number 2, going to the Philadelphia Eagles. How will they replace their production on defense? You're losing Darius Slay, who's a 6-time Pro Bowler. Losing guys like Josh Sweat, who had 8 sacks. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who tied the NFL lead with 6 interceptions. Young players will have to step up. So will it be guys like Jalen, who's a second-year player from last year's draft? Maybe a rookie like Andrew Makumba. Who's going to replace the production that is left the Philadelphia Eagles? Number 3, question. The Cowboys defense. How much will they improve under Matt Eberflus? And there's a huge amount of room for improvement. This is one of the worst defenses in the NFL last season. Matt Eberflus is a brilliant defensive mind. Back in 2017, before he was with the Colts, they were one of the worst defenses. When he got there in 2018, they went to top 10. Last year, the Cowboys were one of the worst defenses. Will they be top 10 this year and give Dallas a chance to compete in the NFC East, maybe in the playoffs? And last but not least, what's the plan for Jackson Dart in New York? Will he play as a rookie? Will he sit and watch whether it's Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston? And then, if Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston struggle early, how quickly will Dart see the field? This is a team that for the last 3 years has struggled under Brian Daboll. They've gotten worse and worse, at least record-wise. Will Jackson Dart be the answer this season, or will some of the veteran quarterbacks keep him at bay? Those are the questions that I cannot wait to see answered.
Yeah, I love that. It's probably got you going out your mind right now, Sam. But before we get you out of here, there hasn't been a repeat champion in the NFC East since the Eagles won the division 4 straight years from 2001 to 2004. So do the Eagles break that streak this season?
No, they don't. I think it's going to be the Washington Commanders that win this division. This team went to the NFC title game last season, and they only got better. They added a 5-time Pro Bowler in Laramie Tunsil to protect your Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jayden Daniels. They added Debo Samuel. It seems as if they're working on a contract for Terry McLaurin. This team has the clutch gene, and I think that goes back to their quarterback, number 5, Jayden Daniels. Consistently, week in and week out, you did not find a weakness in his game, and now they just added pieces to protect him and also to make him better. So I cannot wait to watch what the Commanders do, and I think they will be the team that wins the NFC East this season.
That is Sam Acho with his Sunday's best on. I like the fit that you're going on, brother. Appreciate you for joining SportsCenter.
Appreciate it, my brother. Yes, sir.
To every single NFL team today at some point, you see what it looks like on your screen. Up next, the Jets. 9:05, we check in with the Dolphins. We'll see the Falcons, Michael Penix Jr., what he's looking like, and how about that quarterback battle for the Browns? That at 9:30 a.m. I mentioned the Bears. They're on your screen. The Panthers. We've got the Texans, the Eagles, the defending champs. And then we'll go to Patriots camp. So much more coming in the afternoon as well. A lot of top stories to get to, though. We talked about Shamar Stewart off the top of the show, but what else should we know about that's the latest in the league right now, Adam?
We got a lot of ground to cover today, but right now we're going to start with Justin Jefferson in Minnesota, who will be out of training camp for at least the next week or so with a hamstring injury. It's not the same hamstring that he suffered a couple of years back. Different side, the left hamstring. This time they're going to hold him out of practice for the next week. Be smart. It's important that he and J.J. McCarthy develop some chemistry, but they could afford to take some time. And the most important thing right now is to make sure that Justin Jefferson gets the rest that he needs. Jets quarterback Justin Fields put a scare throughout Mike Greenberg in the New York area on Thursday when he went down with some sort of lower body injury. Well, it just turned out to be a dislocated toe. And he ran out to practice yesterday. And even though he wasn't out there, it feels like he could practice as early as today. He's not going to miss any time, and Greeny and New York can exhale. Meanwhile, the Washington Commanders continue to wait for Terry McLaurin. They've been trying to get a deal done throughout the offseason. McLaurin has publicly complained about his frustration and disappointment. The fact of the matter is they haven't been close, but these things can heat up instantaneously. This is a deal that'll come in north of $30 million, you would think, but they're obviously struggling to get that done. And while that's the case, he remains out of camp. But Shamar Stewart is back in camp. The final first-round draft pick of the 2025 draft class got his deal done last night. He now reports to camp, and he needs as much time and help as possible because all the talent is there, and it'll be up to the Bengals to get it out of him. And now that they've gotten Shamar Stewart taken care of, they can move on to Trey Hendrickson, who remains a holdout in Florida, awaiting that new deal. The two sides have been talking, and we'll see if they can figure out a way to get a deal done.
Louis, the Bengals, it's no secret, they need to be better on defense, right? How do they get to the point where they can get Trey Hendrickson back in the fold, and how much maybe does it affect them that he's going to miss some time?
How do they get him back in the fold? Look, I think, to me, I mean, Adam, you tell me what you know as far as like the details of this negotiation.
Guaranteed
to me,
money. It's all about guaranteed money.
And that usually is a function of them struggling with the future performance projection, right? So in order for them to say, look, guaranteed at signing, I want this, that means like you're trying to extrapolate, well, what is this production going to look like 2, 3, 4 years down the road? But they know better than anyone how he takes care of himself, how he practices, how he rehabs, all that. Me personally, looking at him from the outside in, I wouldn't be worried about a damn thing with Trey Hendrickson.
No.
Okay? I would be sitting there, I'd be looking at TJ Watt and going, look, this dude has the same kind of motor as TJ does. This guy puts in the same kind of time and commitment to his craft as TJ Watt does, and he has produced for us. He's been a home run for them. A home run for them. So I think for them, it's kind of like, it's almost like he's saying, well, listen, without him, who do you think Shamar Stewart's going to look to if he's not there? Who's going to teach him how to be a pro? Who's going to teach Shamar Stewart how to actually rush the passer and not just be a great athlete if he's not there? And now Bolton, I mean, who's he turning to now? The new defensive coordinator, who's he looking around? He's looking around going, hey, wait a second.
This isn't what I signed up.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I know Joe Burrow went to ownership and said, hey, look, I need T and Jamar back, okay? That's great. Joe needs his stuff. If I'm Al Bolton right now, I'm like, hey, look, you brought me in here to replace Lou, and you're not going to give me anything, you're not going to give me any bullets in my gun? I mean, you have to understand just how important that position is. You see what the money, just follow the money in the NFL. You see what's happening, and Trey has earned his.
Correct me if I'm wrong. No shot he gets traded.
That's what they've said. That's what they've said.
No shot he gets traded.
Not right now.
So it's either.
Oh, but it could if
we
get to the
I
season.
think both sides are intent on trying to figure it out. If they haven't figured it out in October and he's still out there, could something happen?
Khalil Mack September 1st, a handful of years ago, right?
But I can tell you, today, the Bengals are not thinking about it.
He doesn't come across as a person, a player that's willing to sit 3, 4, 5 weeks into the season.
He's dug in right now, though. He's giving up 50.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
What would give you that impression? Exactly. To me, it seems just the opposite.
Exactly. I spoke to him Monday night for 30 minutes. He sounded pretty dug in to me. I said, are you prepared to sit? He said, I don't care. If it doesn't come